Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue learning just a little bit more of this amazing language every day. Okay, so last time we talked about 荤素搭配. So 荤 basically is a flavored vegetable, but eventually it is used to mean meat, and 素 means vegetable. So you have omnivore diet over here. 搭配 means you can mix and match meaty and non-meaty veggie kind of a cuisine together. So today we have 搭 continued in 前言不搭后语. It is a little bit long, so I guess it's a kind of contemporary expression. We do use it occasionally. It's a kind of lengthy way to say somebody is saying something and then they're not coherent. Like you cannot really follow their logic, their jumps in between. So, okay, one by one is a lot. Okay, 前言不搭后语. 前, it came from the top portion. Is our food symbol. So somehow in the abstraction of character, this visual element process, that the food was abstracted into this 3 toes. These are only 3 toes represented. And then this is the arch that's kind of flattened toward the back. So eventually just by the food itself, it means stop. So basically kind of you're standing on your heels, not moving your ground, that kind of stop. It pronounces 止 by itself. It means stop, not moving. And the 周 is the bottom. That eventually the Zhou, contemporary Zhou, was it's written differently. And here is kind of a misrepresentation from here to the contemporary. Originally, it's Zhou. It means kind of like a canoe. And you can kind of see the canoe structure with kind of a top or the sharper end. And then you have a compartment on the canoe that for different paddlers to use. So it's water vehicle back then. Stop, the canoe means, or your boat means you're not moving anywhere, right? And then here, on the original word, it was not added, but somehow in the contemporary one, it was added. This thing means kind of you have 2 edges, right? It just describes an object with 2 edges. And my understanding of that is it's kind of a paddle. So when the boat is stopped, kind of hovering in the water, and then you're given with this paddle thing. Once you paddle, for sure, it's going to move forward. But we know it's not for sure because it depends on the direction of the current and how much power you put into the paddling, right? So all kind of mechanisms of paddling in water, but just simple by, theoretically, if a boat is hovering in a still water, if you put a paddle to the water, for sure, you're moving ahead. So this word then means it's moving forward or something in front of you. So it carries this 4 concept from this boat with a paddle image. Okay, yan, we talked about that before, is the tongue. So we have this block with a up tilted mouth corner, like a smiley face. And then we have this crossing on top of it. Means, to me, it's an indicator to mean, okay, pay attention to it. We're talking about something within your mouth. And then there's this tip that it looks like the tip of the tongue, I guess. So that overall, the whole thing, besides the 2 horizontal lines, is the image of the tongue. And the 2 horizontal lines are just the sound bits from the tongue. So overall, it means the organ and the result of words created. So the whole abstraction of the wording or the speaking process of you have the mouth and the tongue used, and then you have the results. That's the sound bits coming out of it. So that's originally symbolic meaning of word or speaking. And here, 不, okay, 不 is a negation. Normally it pairs with a verb. So 不, okay, so in English we say no, right? So in Chinese we will just say 不. Okay, so that's corresponding how well matched, because we have a bunch of negation words, and 不 is the most modern and frequently used negator. So it came from this image of a horizontal line kind of at the top of the frame. So that's our way to express that's the upper limit, that's the sky. And the bottom is, somebody say, it's like a bird keeps flying toward the limit of the sky. So probably it's some ancient folklore or mythology about this bird keeps flying upward, refusing to go down to the earth. So that refusing the earth it forms our initial action of no. Okay, a stubborn bird. And that, so we talked about last episode, the 5-finger hand symbol on the left, and the right, we have this water sign on the top, and then kind of a semi-open mouth with something inside the mouth, right? That's the reading of the characters. And in contemporary abstraction, it got switched out to some other structures. But originally, this word, it means the timber. So it's a protector of your fingertip, because in back then there's no textile or apparel or fashion industry. So it's a home economy. Normally it's the women in the household who is sewing, running their needles to sew up the garments for the family. So sewing, if you do so, I did. That very easily your finger can be poked by the needle. So that's a device to protect the finger. And from that original meaning, because it's related to the hand, right, and somewhat protection over here, I guess, and it comes from this matching, because it needs to be kind of like a glove, right? You need to have a fitting. So from that original use of a finger protection device come this meaning of fit. I mean, this activity, even if contemporary life, we like nobody sews regularly in house, right? At home, maybe occasional patchwork, but back then it's a very common activity. So that's why this activity, the utensil, not utensil, but the gadgets used back then for sewing is a commonly used thing. So that daily object was used to create this word about fitting. Okay, ho talks about okay, the left side is kind of the 3 repeated curve sign. That's our footstep symbol. And then on the right, you have these 2 circles. I mean, very rarely we see circles, perfectly oval shape ovals, I guess. And then connected on the string is our visual representation of baby, small baby in a bundle. I mean, how cute is that, right? And then on the right bottom is our symbol to mean you're kind of walking backward. So imagine, I mean, visualize it like this. So this longer one is your feet reaching backward, trying to go backward, right? So backward walking as a baby. And this is about walking, right? So that means very slow walker, because you're small and also you're walking backward, not forward, not the optimal conductor of the walking or the motion of the walking, right? The method of walking. So it make it super slow, the slowest type. So this slow walking eventually was abstracted into meaning something following, because of course the slowest walker is going to follow the bigger brothers, or who are walking forward, not backward. So that's our after. And then I translate as a post. And then 语, it has the same thing as 言, you see, right? Same. And we just squish it to the side to be part of the next character in this combination. And 语 has a little bit more complicated structure. You can see there are 3 components, right? This is the words or speaking. And here we have the mouth again. So you have 2 mouths actually in this character. And then the top is number 5. And number 5 is amazing. Very, I mean, ancient people really think it through. What is number 5? Number 5 is the middle value between 0 to 10, right? Or 1 to 10. Wait, is it 0 to 10 or 1 to 10? But it's the medium. It's the middle, right? It's 10 divided by 2, right? So I guess it's 1 to 10. 0 doesn't count. So from 1 to 10, the middle number is 5. And well, actually, if it's 1 to 10, the middle number is 5.5, right? Because it's 1 plus 10 divided by 2. So that's the middle number, 5.5. But okay, so let's say from 0 to 9, probably 0 to 9. Number 5 is the median number. Okay. And then so ancient Chinese express it as, okay, you have the upper limit, the highest value, and then you have the lower bound, the lowest value. And then in the middle, you have a kind of sort of like a X, right? An X entangled. And then this 2 diagonal lines, the touch point of this 2 is going to be the midpoint between the upper bound and the middle bound, lower bound. So that way it's kind of pinned down the middle value between this this range, right? So that's our number 5 expression, quite abstract, but it's accurate, like even mathematically accurate. So in this context, you have number 5, and you have mouse talking. What does it mean? It's kind of like a 50-50 kind of a conversation. And also this X gives you the sense of talking. It's kind of a conversational, right? You have 50-50 input from at least 2 parties. So it's kind of like a discussion or debate. It's a dialogue. It has 2 inputs. And then you eventually reach a conclusion or not. Like one side can convince the other or not, or it's kind of a mutually collective opinion about something. So in short, it's a kind of a conversation, involves 2 parties. So yan and yu, eventually people don't really differentiate what is yan, what is yu. But this is more like just generally speaking. But this is like 2-person speaking, dialogue, monologue, if you want to view it that way. And the yan yu, sometimes we'll pair them together, yan yu or yu yan. For us, yu yan is language. Yan yu is kind of words. It's just a little bit nuance between the 2. But both of them related to speaking. So now you have the words in the front portion, and then you have words afterwards. And then 不搭 is a negation. What you said before do not match what you said after, right? So even in contemporary life, we can easily relate to that situation. Sometimes it happens. You'll say something and then you kind of twist the meaning, and then the listener couldn't make sense of it. So that's what we say when somebody doing that, 前言不搭后语. So here I just use this 2 feet to represent you have 2 arguments or 2 portions of a dialogue, a meaning. And then you have a left foot in the front and the right foot in the back. So you have 2 portions, right? They're not together. They're not lined up. Like this, you have 2. Like basically you have 2 opinions. Maybe it's not talking about the same idea. So that's our 前言不搭后语. And I translate it in English, incongruous. It's a little bit, I don't know. In English, I seldom hear this English word either. But I guess in is a negation, right? Congruous is like a coherent piece. So incongruous just mean like by speaking something you're saying doesn't make a full sense because you're talking about different things, or have a different opinions about them. All right. 前言不搭后语. A little bit of me today. Okay, cash into the courtesy of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.